women of Red Tent Goddess. My name is Claudia Mukti Ramjaya. I'm one of the co-founders of Red Tent Goddess. And I'm here today with another episode of Red Tent Talks, wisdom that can help you in your divine feminine journey in 15 minutes or less. So on our last episode, I showed you how to create your own red tent space in your house. And I walked you through the different steps to make that happen. And we talked about the altar and the importance of the altar. And then I touched upon the elements and how to create your altar. So on this episode, I'm going to show you how to create sacred space. So the red tent space is a ceremonial space. And what do I mean by that? Right? It's a space that is not your ordinary, mundane space of every day, right? It's a space that is sacred. It's a time and a space that's sacred for you, an opportunity for you to connect really deep within yourself and be able to commune with the elements and commune with different goddesses and different energies. And so there are certain steps to make that happen. But I'm going to show you a little bit later on the video today. And so, the red tent space is a space for you to connect, for a woman who flows, and by that I mean a woman who's cyclical, right? A cyclical woman who we have cycles every month with our menstruation. And so it's for cyclical women who are flowing, or perhaps women who have stopped bleeding throughout the years as well. And so some of you may be asking yourself, but why? Why is it important for me to create a red tent? Why do I need to be connecting in that way with myself, right? We live in this very masculine driven world, and perhaps you are caught up in that hamster wheel of do, and you don't find any value. You feel like, why do I need to change my ways? I'm happy with the way that I am. Well, women are in hormonal breakdown at epidemic proportions nowadays. And there's a lot of issues with women's reproductive system and a lot of different illnesses like fibroids and PCOS and endometriosis, right? There's just a lot. And also infertility issues. And so I believe that women have disconnected from their bodies, from this very sacred connection that we have. There's also a high incidence of breast cancer. And I remember reading Lewis's Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And I read about breast cancer, right? And what is the connection with that? And so our breasts are a source of life, right? We produce milk to feed our babies, so it gives life, right? So breast cancer actually can happen when we are overgiving. When we as women just overgive and just give without giving ourselves the time to nurture ourselves, to understand our bodies, to know what it is that we need. And so in upcoming videos, I will talk more about the cyclical living, and we'll talk about the different cycles of our menstrual cycle and the cycles of the moon and how you can work with them. But I really wanted to emphasize the importance of us taking that time to honor ourselves, to honor our bodies, to listen to our bodies, right? Before it's too late, what does our body need right now? And so if we do that as women, then we can model that for our younger generation and really help support them. And so that is why you want to connect yourself in a sacred space. And the red tent, it's a perfect context. It's a perfect space for you to do that. And so, in previous emails, in in previous videos I've showed you. We talked about the feminine principle. We talked about what the red tent is and why is that important. I showed you how to create your own red tent space. And so today I'm going to show you how to create sacred space so that when you are in your red tent space, you can really feel an energetic shift and you can really create a space to do deep healing work. And so it's important for me to mention that a woman's best medicine is all the wisdom that she carries within herself. Your best medicine is you and all the wisdom that you carry in your bodies, right? But you need to give yourself the time. You need to give yourself the space, right? For you to be able to access that deep wisdom that can only happen when we enter into a more feminine state, right? And we're able to meditate and relax. So today I'm going to show you 5 steps to creating sacred space. So step number 1 is clear your space. So they are a lot of the times in our homes and in our bedrooms, right? There are a lot of energies that might have been stagnant energies that have been accumulated from just different people, different experiences, different releases, right? We human beings, we are energetic beings. And so there's a lot of emotional release that can happen, a lot of mental energy that can be in the space. And so it's important to clear that out, especially when you are about to do sacred work and enter into a meditative space where you actually are open and you can be influenced by those energies. So how do you clear this space? The most common ways to clear this space is with smudging, using sage or other herbs, sweet grass also. You can also clear the space with Palo Santo. One of my favorite ways lately to create sacred space is with rose water. Rose is a very high vibration, so it's another way to purify and create sacred space. You can also create sacred space with a crystal. And the most important aspect of creating sacred space is your intention. So when you are clearing, when you are doing that the process of smudging and clearing the space, you can either visualize or you can call forth energies of love, energies of light. You can say only energies of light and love are welcome here. Anything else can be transmuted. Please go and just imagine that your whole entire area is being cleared. So that is step number 1. How to create sacred spaces. You start by clearing your space. Now, step 2 is invoking the elements. So I showed you in the last video, I talked about the 4 elements and which direction are associated with each of them. Today I'm going to show you a very simple way for you to call forth the elements so that you can create an anchor and a protection into your red tent space whenever you want to do sacred work. And so we talked about the east being associated with the element of air, the south with fire, the west with water, and the north with earth. And you can also call forth in the middle, spirit. It's the element of spirit. And so a very simple way to call forth each of the elements. Number 1, you could find many elemental invocations that can be found online. And another way, without getting too complicated with it, is just simply tune into the energy and the characteristics of each element. So you tune in with the east and you call for the element of air, right? And so what gives you, right? What does air provides for us? Our breath, right? So we can invoke the element of air with our breath. And so by calling forth and inviting the element of air, you can visualize and connect with your breath and the qualities of air. And without saying any words, by simply tuning in, closing your eyes, and tuning into each element, you're calling forth that element. Then we move to the south, which is associated with the element of fire. So, what is represented or associated with fire in our bodies? Our heart, right? That element of transformation in our heart. So, you can connect to your heart. And as you're calling forth the element of fire, you can tune in to its quality. So you can visualize yourself being ignited with fire. And again, you don't have to say any words, just by tuning into the quality of the element, you're calling it forth. So then we move into the west. And what is the element associated with the west? Water. And so what else in our bodies contains water? Well, our womb. Our womb contains water, right? It's connected to that element of water. And so you can call forth and connect to your womb and connect to the qualities of water, right? Water can be soft, water can be compassionate, right? It can also have, it does also have a destructive aspect to it, but we're calling forth that purifying element of water. So again, you can connect to your womb. You can create the downward triangle with your hands in your womb, and you can call forth that element and imagine, right, that you are water. Now we move on to the north, calling the element of the earth. So what is earth represented by? Right, the earth is what gives us our foundation, our strong foundation, and it's also our bodies. So you can connect to your body, you can connect to the earth, and then just imagine, right, that feeling of feeling protected and feeling grounded by the earth. And then in the middle, the spirit element, or also the element of the mystery, the element of surprise. So I like to just simply call forth and allow spirit to come through. So now step number 3 in Create a Sacred Space is calling any deities. Any, you can call goddess, you can call the angels, you can call any deities or any higher beings or light beings that you work with, and you can invite them to be in your sacred space. That usually helps to magnify, protect, and elevate the energy of the space. If you don't connect to any deities and that simply doesn't resonate with you, that is perfect. You don't have to. But if you do, it does really help to elevate the space. So now step number 4 is to ground. And this is something that if you get into the practice of doing every time, you will feel so light when you are able to ground. So now, how do you ground? One simple way to ground is to notice your body and notice the surface that it's sitting on, right? And just notice that, feeling that energy, feeling that pull towards the ground. Now, as another step, and this is another simple way to do a grounding meditation, is just imagine yourself at this huge ancient tree. Just imagine yourself as an ancient tree with deep roots, and just imagine your roots going down through the strata of the earth to the center of the earth, and then connect with the earth. Another way you can ground is by visualizing the color red, which in itself, if you've been able to create a red space, it will really help you to ground, as the color red is associated with the root chakra. So you can visualize the color of red in your root chakra, which helps to open up and activate your root chakra. And then visualize yourself, and you can use a visualization of the ancient tree. Visualize a red light moving through from your root chakra, connecting to the chakra of the earth and merging with her. So all of these practices will really help you to ground. Now, why is it important to ground? You can, number one, it helps to release some of the energies. It helps you to feel safe and more present. And also when you are going to go into any kind of meditative space, you tend to sometimes leave your body, right, in astral travel or connect with energies that are in the cosmos. But it's very important that you feel grounded so that you don't feel too disoriented when you come back. And it really helps you to actually even navigate deeper states of consciousness when you're feeling grounded. And so that is the steps. Those are the 5 steps to creating sacred space. Clear the space, invoke the elements, calling any deities that you work with, and ground. And now step number 5 is you're going to connect to your heart. So once you have ground, then you can bring that energy to your heart center so that you're open and you're present, right? And you have that connection of feeling connected to the root, but also grounded in your heart. And so now I'll share with you in the upcoming video, I'm going to show you some rituals that you can do inside your red tent. Now that you've created your red tent, you've created sacred space. Now that you're in the red tent, what kind of rituals you can do. I'm going to share with you some really powerful and simple rituals that you can do, as well as start the conversation. Part of the beauty of the red tent is that we are able to be vulnerable. We're able to have taboo conversations and have conversations of topics that we wouldn't normally talk about on our everyday life. And so that's why for this video, I have brought you inside my own red tent. And inside here, we're going to continue exploring the power and the magic of the red tent. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to get to connect with us, learn more about us, you can visit www.redtentgoddess.com. You can learn more about us. We have a few membership options. We have a free membership option for you if you want to get started and just kind of wet your toes or just get connected with us. You can also find those on Facebook at Red Tent Goddess Sisterhood group on Facebook, and I'll make sure to drop some of those links, and we'll love to connect with you, to hear from you. Just let me know if this video has been useful. And with this, it's my pleasure to share this wisdom, and until next video, namaste, ladies.